Hey everybody, welcome back. Devin, the OG Original Grognard, sitting down here, continuing our playthrough of World at War 85, Storming the Crap, prototype game version, scenario 10, Zweite Gegenangriff, and I think I'm saying that right because no one's corrected me or pointed it out that I'm butchering the German language again. Boy, we've got a lot of rules corrections. One of my biggest, I don't know what to call it. I don't want to call it a strength. One of the things I like to do is I try to at least make sure that when I mess up a rule, which is quite often, I at least go back and point out my mistakes from previous in a subsequent video. And sometimes I do that quite often. Kind of one of the reasons why I don't play ASL anymore is the sheer weight of rules, issues, and things I got wrong being pointed out. Typically not in a polite manner, because that's just the way some ASL players are. But anyways, so I've got a whole list of things that not only did some very sharp-eyed viewers come up with, but I also got some feedback from the designer himself, Keith, and you know it's kind of good to have the designer of a game that you're playing on tap, so you can go basically right to the source. I mean, a lot of times I will get to where I'm going and get there correctly. I just don't get there the right way. I'd say about half my rules that I think I'm doing right end up being that way. But anyway, so we got a bunch of rules issues that I need to go over. First one, missile ammo. We had that SA-7 fire surface-to-air missiles at the Alpha Jet as it came screaming in last turn. And I need to roll missile ammo on that. It used to be in the original version, and you know, most of these rules, when I get pointed them out to me, it's like, oh yeah, I remember reading that. It just didn't stick, and so I forget it during gameplay. Anyways, used to be in the first edition, you only rolled missile depletion for anti-tank guided missiles. Fairly certain. At least that's the way we always used to play it, is that you only rolled for ATGMs, not for surface-to-air missiles. However, under the new rules, you roll for missile depletion for all missile systems. So this is a simple thing. This isn't going to affect too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and roll missile depletion for that manpad. And remember, it is... Anybody remember? That's right! Their headquarters rating or less. And for these guys, it's going to be a 6. And like I said, it looks like the Soviets are probably going to run out of missile ammunition more often than NATO and NATO forces. So that helps if I throw a bow stack 12. No, he is not going to... he ran out of ammunition. Now, at the beginning or the end of the operations, anyways, it was supposed to roll to see if he gets those reloaded. And if we take a look at our handy dandy little chart that we have for missile ammo usage chart, you look at the cross-reference special squad weapon anti-tank guided missile, which is, you know, saggers, tows, stuff like that, and manpads, infantry, ATGMs, and SAM support weapons during the appropriate time when you're supposed to. I think it's at the beginning of formations, ops checks, and all that good stuff. Anyways, they had that. Okay, so we roll it again. If the missile reload fails, now you got to pay attention, because this is a little bit different. Leave the missile ammo reloading marker on the unit. So if we fail the missile attempt roll, we just leave the missile depleted on it. Unlike, if you remember, with the BMP that we had earlier, which was a transport ground vehicle with ATGM, if the missile reload attempt fails, place a no missile ammo. So you got to pay attention to what units are firing what to see what the exact effects of it are. So we failed the missile reload check, so they would have one of the reloading missiles on it, and during their ops phase or during their formation phase, they would roll to see if they would able to get more ammunition for it. Although really they're not reloadable. Are the essays? No, I don't think they're reloadable. They're just one-shot weapons. But okay, so anyway, 6. All right, so that's equal to its headquarters value or less. So they pass it. They pass the check. If the missile reload attempt succeeds, remove the missile ammo reloading marker. Well, there you go. We would have put it on, then we would have taken it off. I think they were disrupted at the time, or were about to be disrupted. But regardless, they were able to scrounge up some more ammunition for it. All right, cool. That's the first one. Line of sight. And this is kind of funny because this was pointed out to me, I think, at the exact time I was talking about it and completely ignored what I was saying. So basically, the question was, could a unit in S11 fire at O11 because of the blocking hex sides? Okay, so I kind of remember from the last video. If you're firing along a hex side that is blocking terrain, you can fire past one of them, but you can't fire past the second one. And I went through I went through the elaborate charts, and I kind of pointed it out that yes, you can fire. This is one line. This is a blocking hex. This hex side would be a blocking hex side, but you can shoot past one and you can't shoot past that. Well, what I totally forget is that P10 right here. Yeah, that's a hill hex. That's a blocking line of sight. So the unit that had been in S11 could not have been able to fire at the martyr unit up here at 11 because blocking hex side. That would have been 2 blocking hex sides, would have not been able to, which is fine. I think I disrupted the martyr, and then they recovered during the next turn anyway. So honestly, did it a little bit wrong, but it didn't affect gameplay in any way, shape, or form. Don't need to retcon that. Had a question also come up about moving, firing, and assaulting, especially when I brought my martyr up here to unload into this hex when they assaulted those Soviet infantry. And the question was, can you move, assault, or move, fire, and assault? Basically a transport unit. So can the transport unit move up, fire into the hex that is going to be assaulting troops into, and then assault the troops into there? I actually had to go to Keith this one. I was pretty sure, my knee-jerk reaction is that you couldn't, but I couldn't find in the rules where you couldn't, but it didn't say you specifically could, so I had to go to the source for that. And no, you can't do that. It's either move and assault or move and shoot. It's with the transport unit that's carrying troops if you want to unload them and assault with them. It's either move and shoot or move and assault. So I did it correctly. I moved up here. In fact, I even think I said when I was moving this unit and I was going to move them right here and unload, and then I wanted to fire, and then I decided, let's go ahead and just move these guys over here instead. So it's move and assault or move and shoot. What I think you might be able to do, and I'm sure Keith will point this out, is you can move, unload the troops, and shoot, but as long as the troops stay unloaded in the same hex, sorry about that. I was out mowing the lawn yesterday and today up at my folks' place, and allergies always kill me. A lot of crap gets into my lungs. As long as you unload them in the hex that they're in and don't assault with them, then I think they can move, unload, and shoot. I think unloading is considered part of a move action and not a move assault / move fire action. So, but like I said, I'm sure Keith will weigh in on that one. Yeah, the battlefield. Where is it? Battlefield event friction. Yeah. I've been doing it wrong. I've been going to the friction table. And in fact, if I was smart, I'd look at the card, battlefield event / friction. It's the event chart first, and then you could randomly roll and end up with the friction. So the last couple times I've had a battlefield event, I've actually been rolling on the friction table, which I shouldn't have been happening because it's harder to get those type of results. But you know what? That's okay. The grand scheme of things, both events has come up with, it kind of hurt the West Germans because I did lose a step of Leo's. But, so I just need to make sure I remember in the future, battlefield event first, then to the friction table. Also one other thing. Another sharp-eyed viewer noticed that I didn't activate the 511 AHR, the Helo formation, And he had asked, well, aren't you supposed to pull that card out or pull an end operations card out? And yes, you are. I totally skipped that. I kind of spaced that. And then when he asked me the question, it's like, well, they really don't have a headquarters unit. So are they really a formation? Because I know with close air support, you know, if a close air support doesn't get pulled, it's like, whatever. The close air support is kind of like an event. You know, there is no headquarters for it. But going back through the rules, there is actually a little blurb, a little yellow tip box that says, yes, if a helicopter doesn't get pulled, then since they don't have a headquarters unit, then just use a opposite-ended marker to mark that the helicopter unit didn't get to activate and will activate next, and when it activates next turn, to put the end operations turn, just like any other formation. So there is that. What else have we got? Command bonuses for morale when stacked with a unit. Even Keith said he had a little. He knew the rule. He just couldn't find the rule. I think he said, and that, or was it he said that he should have probably put that under disrupted units. But headquarters stacked with disrupted units would give the disrupted unit a command bonus. In this case, a full strength command bonus would have been 2. Now, what I am going to do, and I remember this, their command, headquarters command was 6s, but I rolled 8s for both the units in there last turn. Of course, one of them's a burning wreck now. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go back and retcon that I did roll an 8. Granted, he could have been able to shoot last turn, but oh well, we can't retcon everything. So there. That's, you do get the command bonus when you're stacked with a headquarters unit. Speaking of headquarters, I also did headquarters a little bit wrong last time when the headquarters unit that I had, oops, it's supposed to be stacked with the infantry, was in the hex that was completely wiped out. Yeah, okay, I did it a little bit wrong. If a headquarters is in a hex where everything's wiped out, is automatically suppressed, goes over into your holding box for suppressed headquarters, come back its next impulse. I said that it was a -2 on the dice. No, it's if the unit they are stacked, if they are attached to, is eliminated and there is another unit in the hex with them, then they roll the d6 and add the +2 to the dice roll. If they're in a, okay, so if they're attached to a unit that takes a step loss, you roll a d6. 1, 2, 3, nothing happens. 4, 5, 6, they're eliminated. If they're in a unit, if they're attached to a unit that's out and out destroyed, if there's no other unit that it can attach to in the hex, it's automatically suppressed. Goes off the table, goes into the holding box. If there's another unit in the hex, then you roll the dice, add the 2 to it. So basically on a 1, it'll attach to the other unit automatically. 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, then it'll be suppressed and goes off to your holding box to suppressed headquarters to be brought back next impulse. Whew, all right. No, we're not. We've got one more rule that we got to go through. Close air support. And yeah, this is one of those that I did it right in a roundabout way. It's basically when close air support comes on, actually with the jet it'd be this way. We're all gamers. We all make noises even if they're in our head when we do it. So don't give me grief over it. When the close air support, when you first draw the formation card, you got to roll to see if they're intercepted. It's a 1 in 6 chance. I said 1 when I rolled the dice. I didn't roll a 1. It's actually a 6. And honestly, when it comes down to, if it's a 1 in 6 chance, 9 times out of 10, I'll just say a number in my head and roll the dice, because it really doesn't matter. It's a 1 in 6 chance. It's a dice. If I need a 1 number out of the 6, it doesn't matter if it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. It's still the same odds. If I say I need a 4, that's still a 1 in 6 chance. It's the same odds as if saying I need a 1. But procedurally, I need a 6. You need a 6. If you roll a 6, then the unit is, the aircraft, the close air strike has been intercepted, driven off, eliminated, pulled a card from the game, no longer used for the rest of the scenario. Oh my God. 15 minutes. But you know what? That's okay. I'm okay with people pointing out rules, questions, and when I get things wrong. Especially when it's a prototype game that isn't even released yet and I need to make sure I get the right information out to people. because I don't want people playing the game wrong, and then they run into someone who knows that, well, the OG said this is how it is. Okay, don't come to me for 100%. This is exactly how it's played. I make mistakes. That's why I say I make mistakes. I'm just a guy. I play the game. I make mistakes. I try to roll with the punches, and I try to make sure I point them out in the future. So, then why do you do the videos? Well, because I want people to see how I play them and give people a good enough idea of how the game is played for them to make their own judgment call. I get the games mostly right. 3/4 right. 80%, maybe 85%. So, those are all the rules that I messed up last. And I'm sure there'll be more in this video. But I just wanted to get those out of the way real quick. Alright, I think that covers all the rule flubs that I did in the last video. And since we went ahead and looked through the deck, because I was showing some stuff off, let's go ahead and reshuffle the deck. Kind of the way the cool kids do it. Even though I know my cool disappeared in my rearview mirror a long time ago. But yeah, whatever. Alright, so yay, cards are all shuffled. Hopefully, since I've described most of the game elements, hopefully this video will go a little bit longer. Helicopters, they show up. That's probably going to slow us down a little bit. But we'll see when we get there. Alright, procedurally, operations phase. Yeah, draw an operations card. Okay, 253rd Panzer. Those are our Panzers, our Leos. Alright, up there. And let's see. We got command and control, headquarters, all that good stuff. Everybody's in command and control. Headquarters still full strength. Everybody's in distance. Got to roll for the disrupted unit. Our headquarters value is a 7, 4, 5, 6. Hey, all right. The Lelouch finally comes back from being disrupted. All right. Now, what are we going to do? Call in some artillery. But, actually, it may not be a bad idea to call in some artillery over there. Free up the Leos to start advancing on the town. Actually, I got plenty of time. There's 10 turns. I'm only on turn 3. Let's not use our artillery yet. Let's be a little bit cautious. All right, so what's the Lelouch gonna do? I don't think the Lelouch is gonna do anything right now. Kind of pushed them that way so they could spot for artillery. Yeah, let's hold off on that. All right, let's see. Well, let's go ahead and just start off with that Leo. I think we're going to fire at that T-55 right there. So we got 4 dice. I don't know if people noticed it, but I actually cleaned my glass. It was getting a little bit cloudy from all my dirty fingerprints on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's at normal range. 4 dice at 5. No modifiers. 6 is a 1, and I still haven't grabbed a dice to mark hits with. I should do that. All right, so she takes 1 hit, and she's got 2 dice at 6 defense. However, she is now stacked with a wreck marker because I wrecked one of her sister platoons. And checking the terrain effects chart. If I can find the terrain effects chart. What? I think for armored it's 1 dice. For defensive. Rex. Yep, 1d6. Just so people can see this. Great. Rex. Movement costs. And then right here, defensive bonus for troops. Defensive bonus for vehicles, so 1d6. So we're looking at 2d6 normally, plus 1d6 for the Rex marker. Looking at 6s, any 6s. Hey, what do you know? There we go. We got 1 success, so that shrugs off the 1 hit. So she is perfectly fine. And we mark them with an ops complete. I got my hoodie on today because I was up at my folks' working yesterday and injured myself, and I don't want to show off my scar too much. That's why I'm wearing my hoodie today. right, this, yeah, I was working with a 2-inch circular drill bit, and it got away from me and decided they wanted to chew up my arm and across my belly. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, I know, big fat belly, probably no damage. You're right, it wasn't. Don't make any fat jokes. Jeez. All right, we're going to have this Leo fire at the same T55 unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's in range. 3 dice at 5. No hits. Ooh, that's not good. So, all right. So now we've got this Leo unit here that's going to fire at the same T55. It's going to be 4 dice, but they get 2 extra dice because they've got the headquarters stacked with them. 6 dice at 5. 1, 2 hits. 2 hits. She got lucky last time. I don't think she's going to shrug off any more hits. So she has 3 dice at 6. Extra 1 because she's in the wreck marker. Nope. 5, 4, 4. Doesn't shrug any of them off. Takes 2 hits. So first hit's going to disrupt. Second hit is going to inflict a step loss. She's on a final step loss. She is destroyed. Now, headquarters unit. This is kind of what I was getting back to, what I was saying earlier. Since there's no other units for the headquarters to attach to, we got to add 2 to our dice roll. 4. Okay, so she's going to be suppressed. And we go ahead and put that over in our holding box. Should probably get a good shot of that so people at least know what I'm talking about. So you get seasick, watch it. Whee! All right, so this is what I'm talking about when we're talking about units going into the holding boxes. Whoops, he's not supposed to be there. Suppressed headquarters is right there. There's a spot for destroyed units, and then headquarters and support weapons, and I just got the jet in there just because. All right, so that's what I'm talking about by putting it into the suppressed box. Just a little box all over to the side. So you keep track of headquarters that are suppressed that will be coming back eventually. All right, so what is the Lush going to do now? I don't think the Lush is going to do anything. I think she's just going to sit there. All right, so that's it for them. They're done. See, when I'm not talking for 20 minutes, a phase can go really quick. 511 AHR. Okay, these are the Helos. So now that the Helos have come on, we'll go ahead and put the end of operations card back in the deck. And let's shuffle the cards. Good thing I'm not good at sleight of hand or I'm a magician or anything like that. So, there we go, like that. So, all right, so a helicopter basically can be in one of 4 states. Yeah. Flight, nap of the earth, hovering, landed. And depending on what side of the counter is up, well, H is obviously for hovering. F is obviously for flight. And then you've got these nape of the earth counters. So if you're in flight mode, if you're just straight out flying, then you just leave it with the F side up. If you're nape of the earth, you put nape of the earth above it on flying. Then you've got hovering, if you're hovering, like that. And then if you're landed, you put the hovering and the nape of the earth marker on like that for landed. So, yeah. Now, at the start of the start of the activation, when the Helos are activated, you decide which of the 4 states you want them to be in. Flight, nape of the earth, hovering, or landed. Since these guys are coming on, I probably don't want them to be hovering, and I probably don't want them to be landed. So it's going to either be flying or nape of the earth. Now let's take a look real quick at the West German reinforcements. Turn 2 or later anywhere. Enter turn 2 or later anywhere on the west or south edge of the map when activated. Okay. Well, that's pretty simple. Seems how the south edge is right here. And the west edge is over there. Now, flight, they can fly unlimited. They're flying above the... But it's real easy for them to get shot at because they're like at level 3 or level 4, almost as high as close air support. If they're coming in nape of the earth, then They can move 12 hexes, but they have to move hex by hex by hex by hex like a road unit, and they're considered pretty much. There's a lot of rules getting into helicopters. I'm not going to go over them all because I know I'm going to mess them up. I'll just give you the bare basics. I get yelled at later for it. But basically, they move hex to hex, and there's only a couple hexes they can't enter. Fire hexes being one of them. But they have 12 movement points, but they can't move, or they can't shoot. And then, of course, if they're landed, or if they're hovering, they're hovering. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring them on Nape of the Earth, because you have to decide when they're activated, what status they're, or what flight status they're going to be in. And they can come in from the south or west side. I think I'm going to bring them in from the south side. This is going to be a little bit dangerous. Well, not too dangerous. We know the SA-7 right there, they're disrupted for right now. So they're not going to be able to get any op fire off. And if I stay Nape of the Earth, I should be able to stay out of the line of sight of that Zissou. But other units can fire op fire at helicopters, I believe. But they take real bad penalties. They don't get point blank. They don't get long range. Anti-aircraft fire against helicopters, page 47. And there's restrictions on what type of units can do it. Okay. Okay, that's that. Nape of the Earth. That's level 0. Treated as a ground unit. Yada, yada, yada. That didn't help me any. So back to the index we go. This is what I was hoping to avoid. Alright, well, let's try page 60. Anti-aircraft firepower dice, blue AP or HE firepower dice, execute direct fire versus flying and hovering helicopters and close air support counters as usual with all applicable modifiers below. However, a unit with black or orange firepower dice may only attack flying and hovering helicopters and CS counters up to its effective printed range with no point blank range and no long range penalties. It also subtracts 2 from its firepower dice, and its to hit numbers increase to 6 for AA. Okay, so anti-aircraft, blue or HE, may direct fire versus flying or hovering helicopters. I'm going to guess, and Nape of the Earth would be considered flying. Alright, so it subtracts 2 from its firepower dice, and its to hit numbers increased to 6. Alright, so that's basically op fire against helicopters. So what we are going to do, we're going to be a little bit risky with this because I am going to be opening up myself to some anti-aircraft fire and fire from a couple turns. But I really need to start clearing out this ridge line over here. So I think we're going to do is we're going to bring the first one in right there. And you know what? I'm just going to keep him right there. You can't use extended fire if you're just using normal AP or high explosive. And the infantry only have a range of 2. So yeah, those are 2s all across the board. And I'm Nape of the Earth, which means I'm technically the same level as this ground hex right here. Let's get the camera in on it. So it's not like I'm high enough for the Zissou or this BMP to shoot over the woods or the... Okay, yeah, we like that. We're good with that right there. And then I think the other one... You know what? Let's just do it anyways. Let's just go ahead and bring him on right there and leave him there, which will trigger some op fire from that infantry unit right there because it is within 2 hexes, which is their normal range. So it subtracts 2 from their firepower dice. Now, is it down to? I would guess it's down to a minimum of 1 because pretty much everything else is down to a minimum of 1. So we're going to say that it's down to a minimum of 1. So he gets 1 dice, but the to hit is increased to 6. So normally 2 dice at 5, so it's going to be 1 dice at 6. And we roll a 4, so no hit. All right. And that's basically going to be it. I'm not going to fly any closer. And since I'm Nape of the Earth, I can't shoot. I'm going to have to switch into hover mode next time to be able to shoot. So we're just going to sit fat and happy like that. that's that. Again, something that could have been done in 5 seconds if I wasn't explaining everything. Next card, 4 152nd Panzergrenadier. Okay. That's good. We were hoping that these guys would actually be able to get to go first. All right, because we need to try to clear that tree line. Now we are going to call in some arty. This headquarters is definitely going to call in some DPICM on that hex right there. So where's my fire for effect marker? I'm going to put the fire for effect marker right there. And let's go through and read for drift and all that other good stuff. Artillery. Page 74. All right. If needed, make a spotter check. We don't need to. Place the fire for effect marker in any desired target hex within line of sight of your spotter. Check for scatter. Roll 1d6. On a result of 1 through 5, the strike is on target. The fire for effect marker remains where placed. If the result is a 6, the strike scatters to another hex. Roll a d6 to determine direction, consulting north direction for the scenario. Basically, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know how scatter works. Move the marker 1 hex in the roll direction, then roll 1d6 again. If the second roll is 1 through 3, the fire for effect marker remains where it is and strike is resolved. If the second roll is 4 through 5, the fire for effect marker roll scatters another hex. Roll again for direction as above. If the second roll is 6, something has gone badly wrong. The attack is canceled. FFE marker is removed. Strike total. The strike total for that type of off-board artillery is reduced by 1 on the artillery track. And the onboard artillery unit that attempted to fire is marked ops complete. So, yeah, basically it can scatter, it can do good things, it can do bad things. And since this is DPICM, there's some extra rules, but let's see if we actually hit anything first. So, roll for scatter. 4. All right, so it strikes on target. So it's going to hit right there. Now, since this is DPICM, before resolving the strike, make a strike reduction test, roll 2d6. If a 2, 3, 11, or 12 is rolled, reduce the strike's firepower dice by 1. Resolve the strike as for high explosive, reduce the number of DPICM strikes by 1 on the artillery track. So basically, DPICM has the potential to be really, really powerful, but it also has a chance to kind of self-scatter and end up not being as powerful. And that's what this second dice roll is for. So we got a 6. That wasn't one of the dice. We got a 6. That wasn't one of the numbers that would reduce it. So we take a look. The DPICM marker is on the 3x4, which was designated by the scenario card. And why we're keeping track of it here, 3x4, just so we can remember. And since the strike went off, I'm going to go ahead and reduce the number of strikes from 2 to 1. So I've got 1 DPICM strike. So we got 3 dice at 4. 3 dice at 4 in that hex. Okay, so 1 hit. How does... Okay, I think it just randomly determines, or is it defender who determines who gets struck? Strike procedures. Use direct fire procedures in combat. Direct fire. However, hits saved are calculated a little differently. Infantry and unarmed targets gain defenses bonus for terrain type and concealment. And light and heavy armor only get defensive bonuses for terrain and concealment. They do not get their armor. So, direct fire procedure in combat 10.0. So let's take a look at 10.0 to determine who gets hit. Because normally, when you're firing, on line of sight, combat, support, combat rechecks. Yeah, it just said hits are applied to the target unit that was specified by the attacker. That's normal. Results versus closer. You know what? I'm just going to roll it randomly. I'm not going to spend too long here trying to figure out who exactly gets hit. All right, so 1, 2, 3, even, odd, top, bottom. Even, so that's going to be the top unit, which is the undisrupted unit. So she's going to get, she's infantry in the woods, and that is 1d6 defense. It's going to be a 5. That's going to be a save, so that's going to shrug off the hit. So that DPICM was pretty much worthless. That's distressing. Unless I'm doing it wrong, which I probably am. But that's artillery. All right, so that was the headquarters, and the headquarters will be marked ops complete. Because, and actually, I think it's the infantry that gets marked ops complete because they're attached. So we're just going to say that. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to have the martyr lay fire into this hex, targeting the non-disrupted infantry. Range of 4, 2 dice at 5 for high explosive. So 2 dice at 5. 3, 2, and a 5. All right, so 1 hit. Now, normally, I would be adding in the extra dice, but I think because the headquarters was involved in the airstrike that... Well, actually, no. Let's check that. Oh, God. I hate doing this. I just want to play. I hate friggin' rolling dice all the damn time. Or checking the rule book all the damn time. Is that the one I roll dice? But no, I got to question myself all the damn time. Okay. I guess it's good I'm doing this. Artillery. Action step 74. Let's take a look at that. Okay, spotters. We did that. Indirect. It's not. All right, again, I'm not going to spend too much time looking for it. I'm going to say, I think because artillery is at offboard artillery strikes 7.5. See, the problem is I get something stuck in my mind. 7.5. Maximum. Okay, so I'm going to say it doesn't use an action. I think that is for onboard artillery that it uses the action. So we're just going to go ahead and give him an extra dice because he is stacked with a headquarters unit. And we need a 5. Doesn't matter anyways. Yeah, long roundabout way of me getting there. And doesn't do anything for me. Anyways. All right, so we got 2 hits on him. So he's in the woods. He's got 1 defensive dice. And it's a 3. Isn't going to save. So he only takes 1 hit. So he's going to be disrupted. So that's actually kind of cool. That's actually kind of good. All right, so we're not going to shoot with that infantry. And there's a reason for that. This martyr is also going to pour fire into there, so it's going to be 2 dice at 5. Actually, they were point blank range, so 2 dice at 4. Oops. I think. Yeah. Annoying. Freaking annoying that I can't keep this stuff set in my head. All right, point blank, point blank range, -1, 2 hit. All right, so yeah, so it'll be 2 dice at 4. Now, normally, shooting at these guys should have been in concealed, which is an extra dice on their defense, but I've got a unit that's next to them, so that negates any concealment, even though they hadn't activated. So yeah, 2 dice at 4. 2 hits. All right. And I guess it really doesn't matter because they're both units are identical and disrupted. You get 1 dice. Defense save. 4 isn't going to do anything, so it's going to take 2 hits. And since they're already disrupted, they'll take 2 step losses, so one of the infantry is just going to get flat out eliminated. Well, that's nice. We like when that happens. All right, now that infantry. All right, so now I'm going to do why I didn't shoot these guys to begin with. We're going to move there. Actually, we're not going to move there because it's going to trigger fire from the T50 or the T62. We're going to move here, and nobody's got line of sight on them to op fire. And now we're going to assault into here. So we're assaulting into a disrupted unit. So we get 2 dice at 4. So that's our assault. 2 dice at 4. 4 and 5. Well, there you go. You can't get much better than that. So we inflicted 2 hits. Now, you got to remember, combat is kind of simultaneous. So they get to return attack 2 dice at 4. However, they're disrupted. So their to-hit number is actually increased to 6. So they've got 2 dice at 6 in close assault. And 4 and a 3. So no hits. So, and there is no saves in close assault. We saw that last turn. They're already disrupted. They take 2 hits. First hit step reduces. Second hit also step reduces, which destroys them. And the Germans are doing a lot better job of clearing out that wood line than I thought they would. So let's go ahead. Mark that ops complete. And this infantry, they're in the building. I think building gives them extra defensive dice. City is 2d6. You know what? No, I think this infantry is just going to shoot into there. I've been pressing my luck with the close assaults. So we're going to go ahead and fire on the infantry in there. So it's going to be 2 dice at 5, 2 dice at 4 because they're at point blank range. 4 and 4, 2 hits. All right, there we go, 2 hits. And the infantry, they're saved since they're in infantry in a build or in villages, buildings, whatever you want to call it. Get 2 dice. 5 and a 3, which saves one of them, so they will take 1 hit, which will disrupt them. And again, I just like to take the ops complete marker off, put disrupted instead, because a disrupted unit can't do anything just like an ops complete, and I don't want a huge stack of units counters on the board. And that is going to be that. All right. So, next formation card. Oh, end of operations. Watch me get another end of operations right now. Nope. 242nd Guards Multi-Rifle Regiment, which is those guys up there. And they need to do something to either blunt those Leos or get down to reinforce the city. All right, so let's take a look at what we got. Now, first thing, let's go ahead because we do have the headquarters. Refresh command status. All right, so command status. The headquarters will come back on, but it'll come back on at reduced strength. Let's go ahead and put him right there. You know what? Let's just, we know where the objectives are. Let's go ahead and remove the objective markers for right now. Again, just so we don't clutter everything. All right, so we put the headquarters back out, or reassign, or however you want to call it. Now we roll for command and control. We do have 1 disrupted unit, and since I missed it last time, but we need to make sure I don't forget it again, they do get the command rating on the burning the disrupted. So their morale is a 6, but he's stacked with a leader for +1, or headquarters. So he needs a 7. 4. Okay, so that's good. He comes undisrupted. All right, so really the only thing that could op fire at anything is the Luche up here. So let's go ahead and start off by firing that T-55. What do we want to shoot at? Let's pick on something that's wounded. Yeah, let's go ahead and pick on that Leo right there because she's already taken a step loss. T-55s are already having a hard enough time hitting anything anyway, so I kind of need to go after the weakest link. So let's take a look at the range. 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it's well within range. 3 dice at 6. Stacked with the headquarters, gets an additional dice. 4 dice at 6. And nothing. Of course not. T-55s can't hit jack. All right, well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to unload this guy and move him there. And we're going to unload this guy and move him there as well, because at least the Rex will give him a little bit of cover. So, and that's basically going to end that formation. So they're done. See, when I know what I'm doing, phases go real quick. Again, 2 153rd Panzer. All right, so we go ahead and clear off markers. HQ's already out there. Command and control. Everybody's within range. Nobody's depleted. Nobody's disrupted. Right into action phase. So now this is where it's going to be a little bit difficult. I can tag from that range the one tank left, the one T-55 that's left, because that's armor piercing. But high explosive doesn't have the range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, well out of range. Okay, so well, let's go ahead and start off with this Leo back here. He'll go ahead and fire at the T-55, which is going to be 3 dice at 5. Oh, there you go. 3 hits. I don't think he's going to save that. Let's see what type of terrain he's in. He's in a building terrain, and building is 1d6 for armored, for vehicles, and his normal save is 2d6, so he's got 3d6. I don't think he's going to save. Ah, saved 1. All right, so reduce from 1 hit to 2. So first hit disrupts, second hit will flip him. So he'll be disrupted, and he'll get flipped. Now I have to roll for the headquarters, because the unit it was attached to took a casualty. 6, and then again, there she goes again. Headquarters get kicked off a lot. Well, it's okay that they get kicked off because they come back a lot, or just as easily. So, all right, so that's that unit. Now, I think we definitely want to clear that tank out. So this Leo is going to go ahead and fire AP at the T-55 as well. 4 dice at 5 because it's at full attached but an extra 2 because it's attached with the headquarters. Oh my, 3 hits again. 1, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5. Well, 3 hits. 2d6 normally, 1d6 for being in the city, so 3 at 6. 1. All right, so she takes 2 hits. Unfortunately, she can only absorb 1 because she's disrupted and has taken a step loss already. So yeah, now you're kind of seeing how T-55s kind of die in droves to anything with a gun on it. So put a wreck marker there. The headquarters was already gone. Yada, yada, yada. And that's it for everything. So now what do we want to do? I think the Lucia's going to move up now. It's going to be 1, 2. Kind of got to keep an eye on that T-62. But we got this Leo that might be moving up as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. Not within line of sight. 5. Yeah, nothing can see him. 6. All right. Yeah, well, that's good. We like that. And let's see. As long as we don't move. So 1, 2. Now, if I only move 2 X's, I can still shoot. Move and shoot. What's the range? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, it'll be extended range. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's move and shoot with high explosive. So range of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be long range. So it's going to be my +1 to the firepower dice. So I'm going to be needing 6s, but I'm moving, assaulting and moving. Where's my others? Yep, great moving fire summary chart. This is NATO units with orange AP or HE. Expend at least one movement point up to half movement points. No effect. All right, so actually, and if I move one more hex, it'll be -1 firepower dice. All right, so if I move one more hex, I'll be at -1 firepower dice, but my to hit will still be the same. If I stay there, my to hit goes up by 1. So it basically comes down to I want to keep 3 dice at 5 or 2 dice at 6. Oh, 3 dice at 6 or 2 dice at 5. Let's go 3 dice at 5. Actually, no, 3 dice at 6. 3 dice at 6. All right, so there's a 6, so there's 1 hit. Infantry in a wreck. It's either going to be 1 or 2d6. Let's see. Wreck, infantry, 1d6. So we'll get 1d6. 5. Okay, that's going to save it. So the 1 hit does nothing. And that's going to be it for them. Yep, that's it. As you can see, without me talking or looking up the rules, phases go by pretty quick, thus the turn goes by really quick. 4 152nd Panzer Group, man, the poor Soviets haven't been able to do anything. Oh, God. All right, so first thing we do, remove ops complete markers. Check for bringing suppressed HQ back. He's already on the board. Check for command and control. They're all within range. No disrupted. No missile. So I'm basically straight into options. Ooh. I can drop. Ooh, which one should I drop? Ooh, you know what? Let's go ahead and use our last DPICM. And let's go ahead and drop it right there. So 1d6. For scatter. 5, it lands on target. Now I have to roll to see if there's any degradation. 5, nope, no degradation, so it's going to hit at full strength. The 3 dice at 4. Oops, I'll leave that there. 2 hits. All right, 2 hit. Now, this is the deadly thing about artillery. Armor doesn't get to use their save. All they can use is the save for terrain and concealment. Well, that unit doesn't have any concealment. It's not in any covering terrain, so those 2 hits are automatically inflicted on him, which is going to disrupt him and reduce him 1 step. All right, so that was a good use of the DPICM, but that was my last load of DPICM, so no more DPICM. Well, that's fine. So now, go ahead and do action phases. What do we want to do here? I think this martyr unit is going to go ahead and light up this disrupted infantry unit. So 2 dice at 5. Three and a 1, nothing. This martyr unit is going to move right to there. It's going to move and fire. And it has got a black HE number. So expend at least 1 movement is -2 firepower dice. So it's to a minimum of 1. 1 dice at 5. 2, no hits. They're going to be marked ops complete. I think this guy is going to shoot right down the pipe at that infantry in the open. So it's going to be 2 dice at 5. Actually, it's going to be 3 dice at 5 because they're stacked with the headquarters. I love this cup. The dice just rattle around forever in there. So what we're going to do now is, just because these guys are going to go ahead and assault into there because that infantry is disrupted. I got 2 dice at 4 for the West Germans attack. Yeah, 2 hits. Nice. All right. And then the West Germans, or the Russians, will get 2 dice at 4, but they're disrupted, so their hit goes up to 6. 2 dice at 6. Nothing. So they're going to end up taking 2 hits, which is they're already disrupted. So first hit is a step loss. Second hit is elimination. Wow. You know what? These West Germans are doing a lot better than I thought they were going to. A lot better. And that's going to be ops complete on them. And that's going to be it for them. Now watch me getting into operations, and the Soviets have not done anything this turn. All right, 367. Well, actually, these guys did something. So, Guards Motorized Rifle Regiment. So, these guys right here. Let's go ahead and take off that. Well, we don't have any ops complete markers because the unit that had shot is dead. HQ is already out there. We got no low missile. Command and control. The range is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so everybody is within command and control, so now we roll for disrupted. It's going to be a 6 because that's what the formation's morale is. So we'll do the infantry here first. That's a 6. All right, they're good. And then the T60 up here, or T62, is going to be 6. Okay, so they're going to be good as well. Now, we're running out of options with these guys because... Well, the city's on fire. Well, okay, we're gonna have to try to clear out this infantry in that village right there. So I think what we're gonna start off with is those BPM or BMPs are gonna open fire. So, and they're within 2 hexes range, so it's gonna be, or within 3 hexes, but they're not at point blank. So 2 dice at 5. And the first one, it's going to be 1 hit. And the infantry is going to get 1 save. Nope. So she's going to take 1 hit, which is going to disrupt her. And the second BMP is going to fire 2 dice at 5 as well. And that's going to be a 5 and a 3. So that's going to be 1 hit. And the infantry is going to get 2 dice because they're in the buildings. 2 dice at 5. All right, so shrugs off 1 hit, but she is disrupted, which is not good. Because that means... What do we got back here? Let's just go ahead and keep lighting these guys up. The range of 3. 1, 2, 3. Actually, I don't even think I can see them. No, that's going to clip that village hex right there. All right, so those guys aren't going to be able to shoot at them. But what these guys will do is... Ooh, should I assault? Yeah, let's go ahead and assault. Those guys will assault into there. Try to take the building, or take the buildings back. Soviets get 2 dice at 4. And that's going to be 2 hits, which is not good for the Germans. And the Germans get 2 dice at 4 as well. But since they're disrupted, it's now 2 dice at 6. We've seen this before. In reverse, nothing. So they don't inflict any hits. The Soviets inflict 2 on them, which is going to be 2 step losses, which is going to kill that platoon off. And the Soviets managed to move into there. All right. Now what? We got the Zisku, or the Zisu. Well, I'd love to be able to drive the Zisu down to shoot at those helicopters, but the only way across the river is currently on fire. So they're going to stay right where they are, nice and safe. The T-62, I think the T-62 is going to go ahead and blast away at this infantry here, just because it's the only target it has. And the German Panzers have already activated twice, so I know they're not going to activate again, so I don't need to worry about saving my op fire that way. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and fire across the river. 2 dice at 6. And 4 and a 2, which is going to be nothing. All right, so that's basically that formation done. Yeah. See, the more I play the game, the more I get grasp of the rules, and less I have to describe things. Battlefield event friction. All right, let's make sure we do this right this time. Take a look at the event side, not the friction side, like I have been doing. Oh, where's my... There it is. All right. Events table. There we go. Let's do this. 4. Weather change. Global There's been a significant change in local weather influence at the battlefield. The weather for all scenarios begins at weather level 0, clear weather, unless indicated on an individual scenario's rules. Each time when this event is picked, the weather may change significantly. Roll 2d6 on the weather change table. Find the result of the roll of the first column of that table and read across the row to see the new weather level, if any, and its effects. Weather remains at the new level rolled until another weather change event changes it. Mark the current weather level on the weather track. Weather effects are not cumulative. The effects of one are completely replaced by another level, except for aircraft removal. Mud, as indicated by the table, and squalls. Squalls completely replace the weather level effects for one turn they endure. All right, so 16.5.2. I'm sure there's a chart for weather, but I'm not going to bother looking it up because I know. Well, I thought I had it. Let's see, 16.5.2. 16.5.2. Okay, I'm going to have to try to find it. The chart isn't in the rule book. Indirect fire, indirect summary. Weather change. There we go. Right there. Weather change. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So basically, it's 2d6. Good thing I'm getting all these rules out so everybody can see what happens. All right. 8. Okay. So 8. All right, right here. Level 0, clear weather. All right, so basically it just stays the same. So there is no change. There's some clouds moving in. Maybe it's going to rain later. Something to keep an eye on. All right, that's battlefield event friction. We're running out. There we go. End of operations. What didn't happen? The airstrike, right? Yep, the airstrike. Now, the airstrike doesn't get to hold its headquarters counter off like the helicopters do. This is an event. Well, it's not really an event, but if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So basically, now we're at the end of the turn. And we go ahead and remove all ops complete markers. Because there's a bunch of them. And normally, that would be pretty much the end of the turn if it wasn't for those silly fires. All right, so we got to roll to see if we burn them out. Burn out on a 1. Okay, first hex. No. This hex. No. This hex. No. God damn it. Burn out, USOBs. No. And the final hex. No. God. Now for spread. We got 2 chances at spread for here, from here and here. So I'm just going to roll 2d6 because if one makes it, it doesn't matter. 3 and 5. All right. So I'm actually running out of flame markers. All right, now, last video I said I didn't think the fire was going to be able to cross over here because they weren't contiguous hexes, but you know what? It just says adjacent, doesn't say they have to be contiguous, so we're assuming that the fire is going to spread across the stream. So we got 1 chance to see if it catches on fire, and of course it does. All right, let me find another fire marker here real quick. And I thought I had drawn out too many fire markers. Do I even have any more fire markers? I better have some. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and place this here for now. So I'll look for it later. Because I know people don't want to see me scrambling around on camera trying to find a counter. All right, well, see, when I'm not explaining things, and I knew I was, the more I play a game, the more and more I get familiar with it, except for the occasional little hiccup. It's just when new rules pop in, like Nape of the Earth and stuff like that, and just a few other minor rules that cropped up and gave me no ends of headaches. It goes pretty quick. It really is a quick playing game, especially if you're sitting down and both of you have got a real good grasp of the rules. And again, if I didn't play so many games, I would have a better grasp of the rules, or I would be able to retain the rules better. Let's put it that way. But yeah, there we go. Hopefully I didn't mess up too many rules this time. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms in the comment section. I'll see everybody next time. See ya!